It's award submission time. Producers have submitted their films for consideration, and the Academy is now putting together a list of accepted films. This list is what members use to decide who they want to nominate for the various categories. Some of the awards categories have their unique rules, but for the most part, entering a film is pretty straightforward. Well, except for the highly contested acting categories. From Rooney Mara being nominated for Best Supporting Actress for her clearly lead performance in Carol, to Brad Pitt's Best Supporting Actor nomination for his lead performance in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Every year there are misplaced actors in the 4 acting categories. It's happened so frequently that film fans have coined the term category fraud to describe these miscategorizations. But just to clarify, none of these actors are breaking any official Oscars rules. In fact, there's no screen time range within the Oscars rulebook. As an example, Anthony Hopkins was only in 16 minutes of The Silence of the Lambs, and yet was still able to snag Best Actor in 1992. It's up to the distributor and producer to decide whether to submit the performance as lead or supporting, meaning that it's completely subjective as to which category the performance belongs in. When there are 2 leads in a film, which was the case for Carol and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, producers will often downgrade one of the leads so that the 2 main actors aren't competing for the same award. After all, if by some miracle both actors win in their categories, it means 2 Oscars rather than 1. And of course, actors aren't just competing with their cast members. Prior to submitting their films and determining their acting submissions, distributors and producers are keeping their eyes and ears close to the ground for 2 main things: how performances are stacking up against each other, and who their competitors decide to put forward for the 4 acting categories. Having a better understanding of the frontrunners helps producers decide the category the actors should compete in. Take Alicia Vikander for her obvious lead actress performance in The Danish Girl. In that same year, she would have competed for Best Actress with some very strong contenders, including Brie Larson in Room and Cate Blanchett in Carol. So the producers decided to submit Alicia Vikander's performance for the Best Supporting Actress category, which had less competition and ultimately led to her Oscars win. Most of these examples of category fraud have involved downgrading an actor to a supporting category in the hopes of better chances for an Oscars trophy. But this year, something different is happening. Lily Gladstone's performance in Killers of the Flower Moon and Carey Mulligan's performance in Maestro are being submitted for the Best Actress category, but many critics and fans believe that they are being promoted to a lead role when their performances are supporting in nature. And on paper, these submissions don't make much strategic sense, because this year's Best Actress category is already pretty full of strong contenders, like Emma Stone in Poor Things and Sandra Hüller in Anatomy of a Fall. Still, it's likely that Lily Gladstone and Carey Mulligan will at least get nominated, because of the buzz around the films they're in. But taking home the trophy? Well, honestly, who knows? Frontrunners change quite quickly throughout the race, and this year with the Writers Guild Awards being postponed to after the Oscars, and the recently ended actor strikes, it's harder to predict who will come out on top. So if winning isn't the strategy, why are Lily Gladstone and Carey Mulligan being quote-unquote promoted to lead acting categories? It's all about perception. By elevating Lily Gladstone and Carey Mulligan's performances in their films, it also elevates the importance of their characters in their stories, which can change the discourse around the film. For Killers of the Flower Moon, the film centers around an uncle and nephew and how they exploited and murdered the members of the Osage. Given the very mixed response from Indigenous audiences, particularly about the violence on Indigenous people depicted on screen, elevating Lily Gladstone's character Molly influences how audiences might interpret the scenes, and therefore what the film is trying to say. And then Maestro, filled with controversy, from Bradley Cooper's use of prosthetics to the initial negative reactions to the film's first trailer, because it seemingly only focused on the heterosexual relationship between Bernstein and Montalegre, when Bernstein was in fact a gay man. For this film, Carey Mulligan's top billing and her lead actress category submission seems to be about rebalancing the conversation, highlighting to audiences that Maestro is, in fact, much more Montalegre's story than Bernstein's story. All this to say that actors' Oscar submissions are perhaps more nuanced than we think, and that actors' awards campaigns are as much part of a film's marketing strategy as a celebration of best-in-class performances. Although I do wonder if this year's category fraud cases are unique because of the strikes, or whether we'll continue to see more Oscar submissions that seek to reframe and influence our understanding of the films we watch. So, who do you think will get nominated for Best Actress this year? Will it include Lily Gladstone and Carey Mulligan? And in your opinion, which category fraud case has been the most controversial? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for more spiels in the future.